What's good, people? It's me, DeleLONgonner. Like to talk about things relating to Arsenal Football Club. Now, I heard a big rumour breaking out today, or a couple of hours ago, that John Stones has been linked to us. I don't know how I feel about this. He's good on the ball, defensively solid, although there's a lapse of concentration from him at times, and he does lapse concentration. But for me, will I take him? Possibly on loan. I don't know on a permanent basis, but football can bring out the best in the player or the worst in the player, and this one remains to be on the scene. But then again, I'm just out here talking about rumours, and it's just rumours. Going back to this billionaire from Nigeria, the richest man in Africa. He's been saying for the last 5 years he's wanted to buy Arsenal. Dangote. Forgotten how to pronounce his first name, but I know it begins with an A. However, I'm not too sure, about this as such. He says he's an Arsenal fan. He says he wants to buy us. This is another reason for me to be sceptical, because it's about putting money into the football club and being committed, going to games home and away and in Europe. And we know Kroenke is not fully committed. We know Kroenke does not want to put his hand in his pocket. I want him to sell, but the reality is he's our club owner. He bought the club over 90%, which means he can buy the other threshold, which he did, and that makes him our club owner by 100%. For me, he's never really put a penny into the club. He's never put a penny into the club, in fact, and that's a shame. That hurts, calling us fans customers. Really? He needs to have a look at himself. But his son's not too bad, I have my questions over Raul, He's the guy who helped us in the transfer window of last summer. So, yeah, I'll give him props. But why wouldn't you want David O'Leary in the board? What is the reason? What is the reason? The man's a club legend. He's made more appearances as a footballer, as an Arsenal player, more than any other Arsenal player to ever come to the club. Beats me. And, going back to transfer gossip, the big one we want is Upamecano at the back. However, why can't we just get him in January, pay the fee, but let him stay at Leipzig until the end of the season, then bring him in next season? By then he would have had a pre-season, and he would have had the opportunity to adapt to English football. He would have had the opportunity to get used to his surroundings in the training camp, get used to his teammates. We can thrash out this deal. Our league position is not the best. We're still in the Europa League. We're still in the FA Cup, but that's a minor consolation. in the FA Cup. Europa League is a tough tournament to win. But we did get to the final last year, and if we're serious, we have to go one better. If we are really deadly serious, we have to go one better and put in a performance to go one better. Not like last year, where we got literally violated. And that is hard to take in. That hurts. But yeah, tonight I'm doing my own live stream. Well, I won't say live stream, but I'm doing my own little thing here. And long may it continue. Something I thought about, and I thought to myself, let me give it a go. You know? Yeah, going on to Arsenal's players out. I expect Mustafi to be gone within the next 48 hours by now. For me, when we first bought him, I thought him and Koscielny developed this understanding, and then I think when Mustafi got injured, he just never recovered. He couldn't put a consistent run of games together. Countless amount of mistakes, countless amount of stupid tackles, countless amount of time he'll commit a foul that would lead to a penalty because he can't be bothered to stay on his feet, or he just can't stay on his feet. And for me, that's amongst a number of reasons why we're getting rid of him. He's not the cleverest of the defender of centre-halves I ever see. I mean, I can back that up. I mean, Bayern Munich in the first leg of the Champions League, the last time we were in the knockout stages, yeah, that first leg against Bayern, that ended 5-1 in Bayern's favour. He's arguing with Bellerin, and he has no idea what's going on around him. He hasn't even looked at Lewandowski playing a back heel to Thiago Alcantara, and Alcantara's got that assist, and he's put it in the back of the net, 3-1. Oh, for crying out loud. Pay attention. Argue with your teammate, yeah, while the ball's out of play or while something's happened. Keep that argument for another time. You could have kept that argument in the dressing room, not during the fact that we are going to concede another goal in the process of conceding that third goal of that game, and it ended 5-1. Another mistake from Mustafi. Backing off for Tammy Abraham's winning goal. He was tight with him, and then he backs off 10 yards. He's running back all the way to his goal. By the time he got as close as he could to him, Abraham stole a yard ahead of him and slotted it into the far corner. 2-1 Chelsea. Oh, last season, the game that I was privileged to be at the upper tier, where we lost 3-2 to Crystal Palace. He decided to play a little short back pass while Saha was putting him under pressure. All he needed to do is just give it to Leno at a realistic pace. But he plays it so short, thinking Leno's going to come out of his goal to get that. Never in a million years Leno was going to get that. And guess what? Saha gets an easy chance and slots it past Leno. 2-1 Palace. He's made more mistakes than I care to think of, and it's time for him to go. And Konstantinos Mavropanos, it's time for him to possibly get a loan spell at Nuremberg, but in the second tier of the Bundesliga. Well, again, I wish him all the best. I hope he comes back a better defender, you know, and those will say that the likes of him will not be an elite defender. We will never know until he puts in the performances, you know. We'll never know. And with who's the other one? With what we got in the midfield and in the defence. I mean, Socrates and Lewis, they've improved in performances, but they're not the long-term solution. That's why an Upper Marcano, a Nathan Aki, you know, these are long-term solution, you know, elite defenders. But for me, Arsenal don't do the elite ways. I just don't know what's going on, what it is with the board. And I thought employing Raul Sanli, he can be that guy to orchestrate these signings. The signings that he orchestrated while he was at Barcelona. You look around that Barcelona team. You look at Suarez, Luis Suarez. You look at Neymar. You look at that midfielder he bought. You look at some of the defenders he bought. Even the goalkeeper, Ter Stegen. They were all his signings. And if you look at how successful he was at Barcelona, I thought, wow, that is great work by Arsenal Football Club to employ him. Although I have questioned him on a couple of things. David O'Leary and another issue that I can't quite get my head around. However, it's another wait for Premier League football. Sheffield United at home. And like I said, we're up against an organised team, well drilled by Mr. Chris Wilder. He's got not many elite players. He doesn't really have stars as such. But what he has is a group of players that play as a cohesive unit, that fight like family. And that's the sort of team that we're up against. So I don't want to be sitting there expecting them to say that this is going to be an easy game. There's no easy games in the Premier League. Not at all. Because if there was, then you get that. Then Liverpool would have won the league by March. They would be more than 14 points clear. Well, that's not the case. So hopefully we get the one or two signings that we need to strengthen us for the best. And then come the summer, Arteta needs a hell of a lot of money. I'm talking at least more than 250 million plus. We were rumoured to have that amount of money. Whether that is true, well, personally, I hope it's true. Because we have got money stacked in the bank. Enough money for Arteta to be blessed with. And for Arteta to strengthen the key areas where we need to strengthen. And I think, to my belief, that he has come out and publicly stated that he wants 2 centre-halves and a midfielder. So let's hope he gets that done. Otherwise, yeah, tomorrow, who knows what's going to happen for tomorrow. Who knows who Arsenal are going to be linked with next. John Stones being the latest. But then again, we've been linked with a number of centre-halves. Nathan Aki, one guy who plays for Villarreal, forgotten his name. Oh, not forgetting Johan Boateng. That's a gamble on a short-term loan. A big gamble. But otherwise, if you've got anything to say on this matter, leave your comments below. And please subscribe. Yeah, just feel free to subscribe, please. I appreciate it. If not, I'm still living life. Peace out and good night.